ayahuasquero. There's all different terms for it. And where I was at, they call them taitas. If you don't have a taita, you can be in real trouble. So they put me in a cold shower. My friend put me in a cold shower, and I literally rinsed because I was like messed up. And then I put some boxers on, and I was just in boxers. And I was brought to the hut where there was 35 other natives, from anywhere from a few months old to 100 years old. They were there. The whole village was there. Everybody was there. They all do it. My trip was so strong that what I saw, the end of the world trip, and I don't know what it is, but I've always been like a trippy guy. And when I tell some of my stories later, you'll kind of see how I got the way I am. But I affected half of the crowd. Half of the crowd there in that tent under that thatch hut. It was just a thatch hut. It was like some palm leaves and some posts and nothing else. Dirt floors. Everybody had mats rolled out and everybody was doing their thing. But literally 20 of the people were screaming bloody murder because I was ESPing them my trip. We were all tripping, and they were seeing the end of the world trip that I saw, and it was pretty crazy. They were screaming for their lives, and it was crazy. They were all screaming about my trip. So that's how heavy the medicine is. My trip made half the village freak out when they saw it. So the vision not only came to me, it came to half of the crowd, and they were screaming bloody murder. But my light was out, and I was in there just like sad. And the shaman is there, Taita. He's got a head bonnet full of feathers from the Amazon, and he has all these bones, and they're all clacking. He's moving, and he's got a giant pot, a metal pot with a chain, and he's got a helper that's helping him, another native from the jungle. These guys were straight natives. They didn't even speak regular Spanish. They spoke like jungle, like whatever they speak in the Amazon, because a lot of tribes speak different kind of Spanish, pidgin Spanish, crossed with their native languages. There's a bunch of different languages out there. It's crazy. The guy literally brought me in front of him and had me sit in front of him, and he tells his helper, go get me a branch of nettles. And my friend didn't even explain to me. He was just saying, oh, he needs to get some plant for you. He went out and looked for it. He went and found this helper went out and found a giant nettle bush that was probably 5 foot of nettles in a big bush. And I'm in my boxers sitting there, and he says, stand up. And I stand up in front of him, and he's burning and chanting around me. He's got this pot with all these different herbs, and he's smacking my body with the nettles, my whole body. And if you guys know what stinging nettles feel like, well, it was on my whole body, and it felt good. It was the best feeling ever. And the reason is when you're dead and you can't feel anything and your light is out, just to be able to even feel pain is amazing. Feels good. You're like, oh, I'm alive. And he kept doing that to me. He smacked me for about 10 minutes with these nettles and like talking in tongues. And he said, I got to go help these other people. My friend's translating. So he goes and starts helping all the other people in the crowd that are screaming bloody murder from my trip. But none of them were getting the stinging nettles. I was the only one that had to get that. I was seeing, he saw my light was off. He knew what to do. He worked on people for about another 20 minutes, and then he came back to me. And my friend is concentrating. He's translating. Fred, who's been doing ayahuasca for 8 years there, probably still there doing it. Cool dude, Fred. If you're ever watching this video, thank you for the story and the experience. But Fred's translating, and he says, concentrate on the light. Concentrate on the light. Concentrate on God. Focus. And the Taita is telling him that. And he is literally smacking me with these nettles. And I'm just like, oh, shit. I'm like, I didn't think I was ever going to get my light turned back on. He said, concentrate on the light. Concentrate on the light. And my light kind of like turned on a little bit like a light switch. Bzz, bzz. It was like a short. Like something was going on that my light was like shorted out. And he kind of like got it going. It buzzed a little bit. I could see it. I go, oh, I could breathe. I was like, oh, there it goes again. There it goes again. Because when your light's out, you can't breathe. You're dead. Anyways, it started to buzz, and like a light bulb just being flickered, literally like a bad connection. Literally, it was like he had jumper cables and he was trying to start my light. And he said, go sit back down. And then he goes around the crowd again, and he goes to the other rest of them. We spent probably half an hour on them, working on them, a little bit longer this time. And then he comes back to me and has me sit back in the chair. And then he said, concentrate on the light, concentrate on the light. Then he has me stand up again, and he's smacking me with the nettles. He's got a giant like chain pot with all kinds of like resin and stuff from the Amazon that he picked, whatever kind of shaman stuff they get. But he had some good stuff. Anyways, he's telling me to concentrate on the light, translating to my friend. Focus on the light, focus on the light. And then he puts his hands together like this, and he goes up really close to me, and he goes, and he sucked this thing out of me, and it was like this black thing. He sucked it right out of me into himself with his hands like this. Sucked this black thing. I watched it go right out of me into him, and he swallowed it like that. And then he went over the railing. There was like a little railing in his thatch hut, and he threw up. He threw up that black shit. And then he's like doing his thing, and next thing you know, he got my light to start up. It was like he had a jump start. He had to suck the black out of me like this, and then he jump started it like jump starting a car. Anyways, it was incredible because my light went bzz, bzz, bawan. All of a sudden I was glowing, and then I had a giant aura around me. I was clean. It cleaned me. It was literally the heaviest experience. Ayahuasca is so magical. So I tell him thank you, and I'm very thankful. And he doesn't even take money. They do this for free. But I gave a donation to my friend to give to the ayahuasca ceremonies. They don't ask for money. The real true ayahuasca taitas, they don't ask for anything. That's just what they do. That's their life. Anyways, I go, wow, that was the strongest experience I've ever had in my life. And he says, hey, that was nothing. He said, my first experience was way stronger than that. And I just go, and my friend's translating, I go, how could anything be stronger than that? I was just dead, and I came back to life, and you brought me back to life. He goes, yeah. He said, okay, welcome. Now you're initiated. And he gave me a big hug, and he said, now you're initiated. And, you know, I had a strong trip. And what I realized there is that the girl that I was with, she was cool, but we were just friends. I mean, I needed to move on. I didn't want anything to do with it. I literally told her and her sister, hey, I can't even have you around my trips. I'm trying to do some like healing and you're affecting my trip. And I said, I want to be a nice guy. I will send you to Peru because there's resorts in Peru. Where we were at and what we were doing was a little rougher for those girls. I said, I'll pay for you to fly to Peru with an open-end ticket, and you can go stay at one of these ayahuasca camps where they charge money, it's a joke. When they're charging you money, it's not the real deal. And they say the medicine is a lot weaker. It's not strong like Colombia. The medicine is stronger there. Ayahuasca's medicine, I heard in Peru, this is from my friend who traveled back and forth and been taking it for years. He said it's smoother in Peru and it's easier, it's softer. And, you know, some people need soft. I wanted hard. I wanted to have life-changing experience. So I sent her and her sister to Peru, and I went out with him into the jungle. I was there for about over a month, traveling around to different shamans, and there was a bunch of them. They're all awesome. Thank you. Taitas. It was a good experience. The next day, I took a little van bus for another like 4 hours, and we went out to by the Amazon jungle, and there was a famous Taita over there, and he was like famous out of all the Taitas. They knew him in Colombia. He was the man, and he was named Taita Beautiful. He was cool. I liked him, but my friend Fred had a crazy experience, and I'll tell you that story. So we take the bus, and I'm with Fred, and he's with his girlfriend, and she's going through some stuff too. Everybody's going through their own stuff, trying to work it out. But we literally took a small van bus 4 hours close to the jungle, some little town. And after that, we got out of the bus. We had to go, and we had to walk for about literally 10 miles. And then we walked for like another mile into the jungle and up these trails. And we got to this little hut. And this guy, Taita Beautiful, was there. He was this little guy. And he had 2 female assistants with him. Little native girls, and he starts doing the ceremony. We have the ceremony that night, and he's giving me the medicine. His girlfriend's